They're getting ready, right, Alex?
They're getting ready, Tara, and let me tell you, they're wearing t-shirts right now, which I don't understand because I am freezing out here in the parking lot next to the Crown Plaza Hotel, where many of them have been waiting to get on a flight this morning to go to Washington and greet Pope Benedict XVI. Cassidy will head to Beijing, where he will have the honor of calling the 10K swimmers to the starting pontoon. I got a chance to go out with Florida Fish and Wildlife officials as they hunted for turtle egg poachers and people that actually bother the turtles as they are nesting using lights, which is why we are using a night vision camera right now. We don't want to shine any lights on the beachhead. Well, Rick, the majority of those fowls have been taken away by police who were here last night, but some of them have actually been left behind. Here you can see what is a loan pipeline report, a lot of loan numbers, tax ID numbers, social security numbers, and license information that was left here behind. As you mentioned, a jackpot for an identity thief. Well, Tara and Rick, it's pretty clear just how devastating the damage is. Look behind me here, this tree clearly gutted open by what would appear to be some lightning. This entire neighborhood has been pretty much devastated. There's debris and garbage all over the place. A big break in the case. We are told that one suspect has been arrested, and we found this out just a little while ago. Let's take a look at that suspect who was arrested. His name is Nelson Richard Payne, and he is 20 years old. Right now we're trying to be as careful as possible and trying to locate some people that are in the water. It's kind of hard to do that, though, because you don't want to flash any lights out here. The moment you do that, people can spot you and they can get out of the water. And if they're in the water, the idea is to go in there and try to catch them, taking those lobsters out before the right time. What they've told the Lewis family is that that pipe was very cheap and very poorly constructed, which is now going to raise a lot of questions about the piping in all the houses in this neighborhood. And Rick and Claudia, the flood levels here in this Fort Pierce neighborhood have been falling steadily, about a foot since we arrived here at 4 a.m. this morning, but still slow going, believe it or not. And we actually had a chance to go through this neighborhood earlier this morning, take a look at what we found. In the wake of Tropical Storm Faye, movement in and around this Fort Pierce neighborhood near 25th Street and Bell Avenue was virtually non-existent. Just walking up the street makes you feel like if you're trudging through the Amazon jungle, and I can only imagine the desperation of people that only have cars to get out of their driveways, and they can't do so because of obviously how deep the water really is. In some parts, the water went up almost 3 feet high. And for the Kreiser family, there was no saving the first floor of their almost 30-year-old home.
Well, the insurance adjuster won't come because he said, I will not walk where there's contaminated water. We're walking in it every day.
The water is filled with bacteria, not to mention possible snakes and perhaps even alligators that have spilled into the neighborhood from nearby flooded canals and creeks.
It smells like fish house.
It's hard to look at it because he said all the walls have to be ripped out, the cabinets have to be ripped out. I don't know. We aren't going to be able to live in this house.
But the loss of property is only compounded by an inability to move around. For the folks here and in nearby communities, heavy floods mean not being able to do things many of us take for granted.
Look around. It's 2 days now and nobody can get out of their house. So there's people that can't get diapers, stuff like that. And we're just waiting for the water to go down, you know? There's nothing we really can do at this point.
The last time floods like this ravaged Fort Pierce was back in 1985. Residents here thought it would never happen again. But even with the devastation, they're determined to clean up.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine because we're surviving. This is our home. We're not leaving.
And right here, if you could see, this is where the actual flood level line, you could see there, it was at that level earlier this morning. It is dropping steadily, but we're being told that there's going to be more rain headed this way in about an hour. And again, until the ponds and the creeks around this neighborhood start receding, this water is not going to go anywhere. So hopefully these people will get some relief in the next couple of days. Live in Fort Pierce, I'm Alex Zequeira. Now back to you guys.
News 12's Alex Zequeira went out in the Everglades today to show us what rescue crews are having to deal with out at that crash site.
From an airboat seat, plowing through the Everglades may seem simple. But it's when you get off the boat and into the muck that it can start getting a little messy.
About 6 to 8 inches of water. It's real spongy. I could probably jump up and down, and I could possibly sink over my head, depending on the muck and what areas.
Scott Sprague owns a private airboat search and rescue outfit. His resume includes operations in flood-ravaged regions in the Northeast and New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Then on Saturday, he heard of a plane crash, gassed up, and started heading south to help first responders do something he knew would not be easy. Search for survivors through terrain that is not people-friendly. It's no easy task actually maneuvering through all of this vegetation. It's very dangerous, very thick, and you can't even see what's around you. There could be an alligator lurking around right next to me, and I wouldn't be able to see it. As easy as it is to miss an alligator, it's just as easy to miss the debris you're looking for.
As you can see, vegetation here is probably 12, 15 feet high. You could walk within a couple of feet of a complete fuselage of an airplane, and you may not even see it. So it's virtually, you're covering every square inch, searching this area, trying to find, debris or bodies or what have you.
It could be scary because, like you said, you don't know if there's a water moccasin out there, a gator on the ground somewhere. Something could bite you, jump out of the bushes, It could be hog, it could be gators. There's no telling what's out here. You just go in there and do what you have to do. On the banks in one area, and probably about a 10 or 15 yard area, I've seen 20 or 30 alligators, 8 to 10 feet, all congregating in one spot. There are some big gators out here.
In the Everglades, I'm Alex Zequeira, WPEC News 12.
It's happened to all of us. You're driving down the highway and one of those high-performance street bikes comes roaring right by you at what seems like 140 miles per hour. Well, it doesn't just seem that fast. It is that fast. CBS 12's Alex Zequeira tells us how police are powerless to stop them and how the consequences can be deadly.
This is not a racetrack. It's Military Trail in Palm Beach County. And as CBS 12 rode along with Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies, we spotted these bikers doing double the speed limit.
80 miles an hour.
And found out firsthand why law enforcement is having such a difficult time stopping these speed demons.
Now at 110 miles an hour, we can't even see them anymore. They're gone.
In an instant, they scatter and 2 of them run from police and disappear into the night.
So we can't even catch up to the violators that are doing 90, and if they see us pull out, then they'll accelerate even further, and they'll get to from 90 to 120 like that.
And the speed comes with a sense of pride. Bikers showcasing their need for speed on the web on sites like YouTube, where they post clips of themselves breaking the law. Then they get on the road right next to you and me to show off, knowing that at any moment they can outrun police.
They're killing themselves, and more importantly, they're killing their passengers if they have them on there.
That was the case last May. A jolt of energy forced Mary Ann Stapleton out of bed. She turned on the news to find breaking news about a motorcycle accident.
And I just thought, please God, don't let it be Chelsea. Just please don't let it be Chelsea.
Their lives were torn apart. Their 17-year-old daughter, Chelsea, was riding on the back of a motorcycle going about 140 miles an hour. When it slammed into a car, she was thrown from the bike.
May 23rd, 2007 was the worst day of our lives, but it gets worse.
Even now, every time the Stapletons see a crotch rocket on the road, they cringe and remember that night. Florida lawmakers just passed House Bill 137, implementing heavier fines for reckless drivers and riders and threatening to take away their licenses for prolonged periods. But some say that's not enough.
It's great to have the penalties and to put the bills through and to change the laws, but you have to catch them.
And that's going to be tough with the state planning deep cuts in law enforcement.
I know that it took 9 months, over 9 months, to complete Chelsea's investigation because these officers and investigators have caseload after caseload and not enough manpower to handle it.
If the cuts go through, less of this means more of this. As for Mary Ann Stapleton, the last and fondest memory she has of her daughter is now contained within the pages of a letter Chelsea wrote for Mother's Day last year.
You are perfect just the way you are. I love you so much. Love always and forever, Chelsea. That was written on May 13, 2007. 10 days later, Chelsea was gone. So that Mother's Day letter will have to last me forever.
The new legislation approved by Florida's House and Senate will go into effect in October of this year, and under that law, speeding bikers who are actually caught will face stiffer penalties, but the bill originally allowed law enforcement to take away a bike after a third reckless driving offense, and Liz and Kurt, that provision was taken out of the bill before it was approved during the last legislative session.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would lawmakers take out the confiscation provision?
Well, the motorcycle lobby here in Florida, Kurt, is very strong and may have played a very influential role in actually drafting the final version of that bill. But I do want to point out that police do tell me that about 60% of the bikers out there do not have a valid motorcycle license, which means they can't apply for insurance. They're out there, and it's not hard to figure out that they're out there endangering lives, breaking the law, and riding without insurance. So this total disregard for law and law enforcement is not only costing a domino effect of problems that will affect us on the road, but in our pockets as well.
Okay. Alex, thank you.